Welcome to another out of spec detailing video. Today we are at my shop, Clear Detailing in Windsor, Colorado. And today we've got a C8 Corvette. Now this vehicle has already been paint corrected and ceramic coated, but by another detailer in the area. This car is actually here to get redone. This is one of those non-metallic black paints that shows absolutely everything, and that's exactly what we have. We've got tons of holograms and kind of swirl marks from not properly polishing this vehicle, as well as some coating high spots. So our kind of premise with this entire detail is to basically redo it. So we've got to remove the ceramic coating, get the paint looking proper, and then ceramic coat it without getting all the high spots in it. So let's take you through this process. I'm going to show you around the vehicle and show you the areas that the customer was not happy with. And I also found some other areas that we didn't even discuss that were a little bit kind of frustrating to see. So let's jump right into it. So we're here at the back of the C8, and I do want to say the paint looks good on camera. It looks decent in person under these lights until you take it outside or put it under the scan grip lights. Now outside is where my customer and I talked about kind of the issues with this and all of the kind of hazing, swirl marks, everything in the paint that was not properly polished out. Now, one of the big issues I'm noticing on this car is actually the coating. So this car, like I said before, has actually been ceramic coated. Now, there's a difference in ceramic coating in general. There's different kind of DIY installs versus professional, and what you're gonna see here is a difference between a shop that claims to be pretty darn high end, but is not even up to our expectations. So let's bring it in right here. So on this spoiler where it comes down onto the rear bumper, you'll notice that kind of, it almost looks like a fingerprint or an oil slick. That's actually a coating high spot. So this is baked into the clear coat. Now, a lot of times I will need to actually wet sand those if they are super severe. I'm hoping that's not the case on this because I really don't want to get into that. But I'm going to show you some more spots. So one thing they didn't do when they coated this vehicle is take the license plate off, which caused them some issues in getting high spots. So if you notice here, kind of like right on the edge where that license plate would go, you see another kind of oil slick spot, another coating high spot. There's a big one down here, just a huge glob of coating that's not even wiped off. Same on the other side. On this back bumper, look at that spot there. I mean, it is just amazing to me that this is allowed to be taken out of a shop. You can see it right there. It's just so frustrating to see that on a car. The customer spent a ton of money getting this thing paint corrected, ceramic coated, but it's here getting fixed. Now on this other bumper here, on the rear bumper actually, look at that spot right there. That is probably 3 to 4 inches long by 2 inches high and just completely missed. It just looks terrible. So let's bring you over to the mirror. This is another one. I'm sure as I walk around this car, as I already have this morning, I'm gonna see more and more of these spots. Definitely once I get into polishing, it's gonna look even worse. But let's look here on the mirror. So you can see right above that gray, another coating high spot. And actually on that gray, a coating high spot as well. So what we're gonna end up doing is basically redoing the entire detail from what the other detailer did. Definitely a frustrating thing for this customer. You know, the C8 Corvette is a super fun sports car and kind of his weekend driver. So very frustrating to see this, but we're gonna get it fixed and dialed in. So let's get the scan grip lights on this now, and I'll show you kind of the issues with how this vehicle was polished. So I've got the scan grips lights set up here on my light stand. Now I would take this thing outside and show you guys how bad it looks, but there's construction going on out at the Water Valley Vaults here, and super noisy, kind of tricky, dust flying everywhere. So these scan grip lights, I know I've seen a lot of people say that, well, why does it matter if you can see these scratches from a flashlight? Well, what these do is mimic kind of the sun. So I'm gonna bring you in here. So this is how the other detail shop left this. Super hazy. I mean, look at that edge right there. Just swirl marks all over this. DA kind of polishing marks, just not even finished down properly. And then not to mention not properly polishing this, but leaving super heavy scratches like this in the tail lights. I mean, just the quality of this is just, it's sad to see because it kind of brings everybody down in the detailing world. So it's very frustrating to see it. I mean, look at this panel here. How many swirl marks, scratches, the haze in this, it's kind of having a hard time picking up that haze, but it just looks terrible. This customer paid a couple of $1,000s to have this done. So it's very, very frustrating to see. Yeah, you can really see the haze there. If you guys go back and watch the video we did on Kyle's Model S Plaid, this kind of non-metallic black paint, I'm assuming is gonna be pretty similar. It's gonna be very soft, very tricky to deal with, but if you have somebody willing, like myself, willing to make this look proper, you're not gonna have your paint look like this. And this is just, gosh, it's so frustrating to see this. So again, the process we're gonna do, we're gonna get this paint cut and polished and then recoated, and I'm hoping that those coating high spots do not cause any sanding or need for sanding. So as I move this light around, I saw even kind of more high spots, and look around the badges there. See how they're really hazy and just kind of dull around there? Those are actually the coating high spots again. These are probably wiped off a little bit better, but this just looks terrible. I mean, I'm just not quite sure how this leaves the detail shop in the slightest. I mean, the quality control just has to be completely gone. So I can't wait to get this thing dialed in, looking proper, and just, you know, make it how it should look. So this is a great area. I just pulling the lights around again, just kind of trying to find some areas to show you guys this. But look at the haze in that. All those little micro marring spots, that is from not properly polishing this paint. Now, I understand this paint is tricky to deal with, but as a detailer, your job is to make sure that this looks proper, unless you're having a conversation with the client and saying, listen, this is not gonna work out, or we need to spend quite a bit more money to get it finished out. Now, in this case, the customer paid to have this professionally done to look as good as possible. I don't know about you guys, but that doesn't look very good to me at all. I mean, even down here, look at the amount of, it is just so sad to see this. I mean, I know I've been saying that a lot, but this is just terrible. And I will say, this is the third car from this particular detailer, that is, that I've seen back at my shop. So be careful, guys, where you are taking your vehicles. Make sure they're vetted, make sure you've seen their work. Maybe even have them try a test spot and, you know, take a light like this, pull it out in the sun, see how they are doing their work, because this would never leave my shop, not in a million years. So frustrating to see. So keep moving around the car here, and I keep shaking my head. Now, my kind of premise with this video is not to blow up any detailers, any detailer spots, but I want to show kind of the issues that comes around with detailing ceramic coatings, and to know that there's a difference between shops. And you, as a consumer, need to know those differences. So as I bring this in here, look at the hazing again. I mean, it's just, this is right on the front of the vehicle. The hood and kind of front end are always the spots that are seen. Now, if I were to pull this outside, you can really see all this. The Scan Grips lights pick it up pretty darn good. But it's so frustrating to see this. And this guy spent thousands and thousands of dollars to get this done. But again, here we are redoing the work. So I just want to make this to the point of Not all detailers are created equal, and know what you're paying for. Just because they're expensive does not mean they're doing good work. I think, as I said again, this vehicle from the other detail shop is actually priced more than what I do. You know, it's just so crazy to me that that's even able to leave their shop. We can talk pricing all day. I'm not going to get into specifics on this vehicle. All of my vehicles that come in and out of my shop are priced accordingly. Every single car has their own story. This one in particular has been redone or will be redone, so it's already been done before, and it's going to be different from another black C8 Corvette that hasn't been done. So I don't really give out my pricing like that. I do it on a car by car basis for this exact reason. So we're going to start polishing on this, get this looking proper, and hopefully save this and make it look how it should. So we're here working on the driver's side roof, and I wanted to point out something pretty interesting. So first off, I've got the stripe taped off to keep compound off of that because it is a matte surface, and if we hit that with compound, it will turn glossy. Now, what I want you to notice is I've been working on kind of that edge, that leading edge, and then that edge right next to where the stripe and the tape is. Now, if you can see this, it's a little hard to pick up on camera, but you can tell where I've buffed is a lot clearer. So right in here, super clear, and then notice how it's hazy. Now, what's really interesting about this is I'm only compounding this. So our level of compound is actually clearer and a better finish than the other part. I'm leading to believe that this car was actually one-stepped. I personally don't really believe in one-stepping a vehicle. I think they normally either need only a polish or they need to be cut and polished like we're doing here. So look at the difference there. You can really see that corner. And once we polish this as well, we're gonna get even more gloss. We're gonna put 2 layers of ceramic coating. This thing is just gonna look insanely nice when we're done. So I'm getting ready to do a kind of 50-50 here to show you guys the difference in the other detailer's finished product and just compounding stage. When I was doing that, look at that coating right there. That is just missed. It's a huge high spot. Now the unfortunate thing here, I am likely gonna need to hand polish that area because I can't get in there with a buffer. I will try to use my Rupes Nano, and that's a 1-inch pad. I'm just not sure I'm gonna be able to get in there with a buffer, but it's just the more and more I go on this car, the more I uncover and the more frustrating it is. I know I've said that probably a couple dozen times now, but I mean, it is just so sad to see this on a car, you know, especially a car like this. So working on this driver's side here, just wanted to show you kind of the difference here. So this, again, this is how the car showed up to me. So just DA polishing haze, just completely terrible. Now, what's crazy to me is that I am getting that result by just compounding the car. Look how much clearer that is without all that nasty haze. Now, I do want to make it clear, I will be polishing this afterwards. So any of that like ever so slight bit of haze from compounding will be removed. I mean, just look at the difference there. And this is a panel, probably one of the worst ones. I mean, once you get down here, look how terrible that looks. And this is a panel that literally the driver, every time they get into the car, is gonna see. And it's just, I'm just kind of mystified as to how this leaves a detail shop like this. Yeah, wow. So I'm super happy with the results we're getting here, and I think this thing is gonna look perfect. I just want you guys to understand that, again, just because this particular detailer charges a lot does not necessarily mean you're going to get a spectacular product. I, again, am charging less on this particular detail, crazy enough, but that's just how my pricing is. So do your research, please, please, please do your research. Look at what they've done before, and then if you see stuff like this, this is not okay. Absolutely not okay. These are the results you should be looking for. Okay, so we've got the first stage of the paint correction. So I kind of use a two-step method typically. First we start off with the compounding stage, and we're completely done with that now. I know a question I'm going to get asked, because this vehicle was previously coated, is how do you know if you fully remove the ceramic coating? This kind of works out perfect in the process, because every time I compound a car, no matter what, I always rewash the car. So I'm going to pull it out into the bay here, and you'll notice that the paint will basically sheet water instead of beading. That means we've successfully removed the ceramic coating on here. Now around here on the Corvette badge, I did not do any buffing right here. I will polish this, but I wanted to leave this so I can show you a direct comparison between the compounded and then where the ceramic coating still resides. So let's get this pulled out here and get it washed down, and then the next steps are going to be polishing the paint, coating the wheels, so we're going to remove those, and then ceramic coating the actual paint. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so I've got the car rinsed down now after just foaming it. It still is beading a little bit, but it's definitely, the coating is removed. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So the actual red stripes on here, these are vinyl. They were ceramic coated over, and then the paint was also ceramic coated with the same. I was not able to remove the coating off of this yet because you can't buff that. So I'm gonna probably hand polish this a little bit in the areas needed, but I'll show you exactly what I mean here by sheeting water. So if I spray some water on here, notice how the water really sticks on the black paint versus beat it off like crazy. So this is called sheeting more than beating. So even back here, you can see exactly where the car is still coated around that Corvette, but sheeting around it. So kind of interesting. It's definitely still beading a little bit, like I said. Now that could be still a little bit of compound on there. So actually before I polish the vehicle, I always do another isopropyl alcohol bath. That will likely strip everything, as in the compound, off for a properly clean polishing surface. Okay, I've got this passenger rear quarter panel here and wanted to show you. So I wiped down part of the panel with isopropyl alcohol, and we did indeed remove the coating. You notice how that left side is just kind of like, the water is really sticking to it. So successfully removed the coating, and we'll be ready for the polishing step once we get this wiped down and now again dried off. So we are well underway here and kind of finishing up on the C8. So the wheels are getting coated right now, but the paint is actually done. A few little touch-up bits here to go, but I just wanted to show you guys, this is always like my favorite stage in the detailing process, seeing the wheels off. The car just looked like it's floating. This is my bend pack lift. It's a scissor lift with the race ramps on it, and just loving this. But the paint is finished, so we've got G-Technic Crystal Serum Light on it, topped with XO V4, and the clarity in this is just absolutely insane. Look at the reflections in that. Looking so much better than before. Wow. So we're gonna get the wheels finished up here, put back on, get the finishing details done, and then we should be wrapped up with the C8 Corvette. Very, very happy with the results on this one. It was definitely tricky. This paint kind of fought me a little bit. It was pretty darn soft, and finishing it out was a little bit tricky, but we got it dialed in. Looking proper now, just like a gloss black mirror.